Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. I'd like to call to order this April 14th, 2016 meeting of the Snohomish County Fire District Board of Commissioners. Can you stand with me? Over here. Move the flag.
Keep you on your toes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a reason why the flag was moved? Because I know when it's up a step higher, it's supposed to be on a certain way, whether it's on the floor, then it's the other way.
Yeah.
No,
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
somebody
Who's
rearranged
on
the
the
room at
flag-
some point.
Flag detail.
Yeah.
I realized it was.
Because somebody may
2 minutes ago.
look at that and see that.
We'll leave it up to you, Richard, to have that information for us, but make sure that we're legal.
Alrighty.
Oh my gosh. Let the record show that all three commissioners are present. Agenda order, we do need to be cognizant of a time frame that we need to stick to. We've got an executive session, but that session needs to start at 5:20 because of scheduling conflict with the person that's going to join us at the executive session. So we will stop wherever we are during the meeting, wherever 5:20 takes us, and we'll go into executive session for a bit. Any other changes? Minutes from the March 9th meeting were distributed. Any corrections, additions, modifications, changes, deletions to the minutes?
I'll move we accept them.
Okay. Those are accepted by acclamation. Now is the time of the meeting when members of the public may address the commission. Seeing none, were there any online?
Nope.
None, okay. Oh, we're flying through this. Accounts payable and received. Well, let's do payable first. Any comments or questions there?
I had one question on,
We go-
item number 5459. It was $8,157 to South County for special ops supplies.
Guessing that's SOPP board, Jason?
Yeah, what was the amount?
$8,157.
Annual fee goes to South County for, our maintenance fee into the county tech and hazard.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if it was that or just
Yeah.
a general buy for special supplies.
No, that would be, they do a tax per mill.
Right, right, yeah.
and
Okay.
Ours was 8,000, so that happens to line up, so I know that was for the SOPD.
Yeah, I figured that you probably know what was for, so, okay, that's all I had a question on.
And I had a question on 5437. That's limitless plumbing. And it says here that was for a clean out at 42. Are we gonna be using the same system up there with the new facility as we have now? So that just triggered that in my mind when I was looking there, so.
Yeah, we go with a new septic, new,
Drain field and all that.
yeah, I was thinking the parking lot drain, but I can't think of the name right now, the bioretention.
Oh,
yeah.
Bioretention, so everything is new, we can't use because it was, none of the old stuff meets the current code, so
Okay.
everything gets replaced.
Okay, that's good. And then, I was, on 5442, I was wondering, we had somebody come in to do some, training for some of our people here, it looks like.
Yes, that was
Did we have to pay tax on that?
we pay whatever they invoice us, so that's like a individual 1099 contractor that comes in, so we pay whatever their invoice is, so they have to take care of that as an independent
The
contractor.
reason I ask is because when I registered for the commissioner thing coming up here, they put tax on it. You know, so I was just curious if we had to do that too.
Yeah, I don't remember how his invoice was laid out, whether it included tax or not, but they essentially, if I taught a class for somebody, I say, here's my fee, and then it's up to me to figure out what, we pay the invoice, so I don't know how he takes care of the tax.
Well, I noticed in here the invoice for the thing I signed up for had the tax on it, so anyway. And then I was looking at 5466. Is that on one of our newer engines that happened? That it talks about the window motor and step light, things like that?
It looks like it's on page 19, Greg.
Yep, I've got it here.
Okay.
It's not, it's True North. Not on our new engine.
Okay.
It's the engine that's currently serving as engine 44 right now. So, not our newest engine, our second newest engine. We had one of the window motors go bad in there, yes.
I was just concerned if it was one of the newer ones, would we be having an ongoing
Exactly.
issue with that?
Yes.
You know, something-
Our newest engine, anything we do currently, or most of what we do currently is warranty. Still.
And then I had one last comment for our treasurer here. There's a whole bunch in here that just says, from the bank. And
Columbia.
we really don't know who the person is, or group that we're paying. Could that be put in there somehow or another?
It can't, it's a Springbrook limitation. We've looked at it a couple of times. That's a credit card bill is what it is. And so for us to be able to batch and pay that bill, the way Springbrook processes it, it has to go to the same payee. But they get grouped by line item, so they're grouped by like expense.
Okay. Because I know we had some questions on something earlier from certain, like, South County and stuff like that.
I can look them up.
And I just was kind of curious about that, because some of them are kind of, okay, what would that really be, as I look at them, but,
Yeah, happy to look any of them up for you if you'd like.
okay, thank you.
That it?
Yes, for
That's
me.
it for me.
Okay. Payroll, questions? Accounts receivable.
Good there.
We'll accept all three of those.
Okay.
And then we're going into first read items. Locution at RLB. Sounds like a great plan to me.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, I agree. I think it's a great plan, especially when you got folks out there doing training, when we do multi-company operations out there.
Yep.
2/3 or 3/4 of our people are out there. It's great to have that info right at their fingertips.
One thought, I looked at the little plan, it looks like there are external horns of some kind. Do those have an auto off for 9 PM to 6, or manual be able to make sure they're off at night?
They do, I believe, there's a couple different switch options. I think the switch option, somebody'd have to manually turn it on, and then I believe it'll be on a timer. So that, we've asked the same thing. We don't want horns at 2 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning,
waking up,
broadcasting.
like.
So I forget if it's a manual on or off, but we talked to them also about a timeout switch, like,
We're also trying to see if when the gate activates, it turns the timer on, so it will be turned off, we're not
Okay.
sure if it's gonna be like
Some,
a clock timer, like you said, nothing after 8 p.m., or if it'll be you hit a timer, or the gate will activate the timer,
Right.
yeah, the plan is to try to only have it on when they're there,
crews there.
people are,
yeah,
Oh,
as
yeah.
best we can.
yeah,
Even during the day, we don't want it going, we don't want people hearing things, just standing on the trail hearing things, so the goal is to only get it when our crews are there, but we have to tweak things with Skyline to see
Yeah.
what the best options are.
okay.
So does that go with all the different, groups that are down there that use our facility, then they, or just us?
We offered it to Surfer Identity a few different times, because they would have to pay for their portion, because you have to pay a locution lease fee, basically.
Okay.
So I've offered Surfer specifically if they wanted to have any, and I never really got an answer. I mentioned it to a couple chiefs and a couple off chiefs, and they never went anywhere, and I wasn't gonna keep tracking them down.
Yeah.
So no, it'll only be our units.
And so when it says Station 41, that's the new station, right? Okay, whenever all that stuff gets hooked up. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
we are trying to use the same numbers. I'm not saying that we won't step up for a while, maybe 3, 7, 8 years, I don't know. Yes, we're trying to get it right. Shauna corrects us, so this should be pretty good.
Old dogs and new tricks.
Yeah, yeah.
Any other comments or questions?
And just as an add, I believe we're doing that connection with all the fiber on the 16th, correct? Starting that and should be done that week, so we actually should have everything hooked up maybe next week.
Cross fingers. We got
Yeah.
fiber to all the facilities, we just gotta work with Audion, which they're starting actually tomorrow. We're gonna
Tomorrow,
swing
okay.
by and pick up some equipment, and hopefully by the end of this week, we might have them all connected, as long as we got all the hardware necessary to make the connections. Cool.
And Skyline started last week, hitting all the old facilities, so Maple, Machias, and Three Lakes, so, you know, the locution part of, the RLB will be a little longer, because we're just starting that part, but they should have internet, hopefully in a week or two. They're starting to do the security, the only place we're gonna do locution is the RLB. We're not gonna do locution at 42 or the Maple, because we looked at it and it was ridiculously expensive for 2 years,
Or less.
or less. So we decided to not at those stations.
And
And you couldn't tell they're redone. And there wasn't a really a good, we were hoping we could like
Yeah, okay.
spend the money and use that money in the new station, but they basically told us no, it was basically throw the money away or not, so we held off.
Good. Okay, so that is PA 2026.24 for $55,000. I move we approve that.
I'll second that.
Next one is to extend the agreement with Ralph Rohr through the closeout of Station 41. I think he has been well worth this money, as far as I'm concerned. And an additional $7,000 to just make sure that that whole closeout process goes as designed. I think it's, yeah, that's my.
And it doesn't seem like, we're using this commissioning agent to do all the stuff, and neither GenCap or Lawhead has used that type of agent a lot in the past, and Ralph has done it a lot with schools, and, these systems like the SWAT, Ralph still thinks a lot of that was how they balanced it, and that's what the commissioning agent does, so, it'll be nice to have him there that has actually done some of these complicated commissioning
Yeah,
things.
there's a lot of moving parts.
Well, it was interesting, like today when we were down there and Mads talked about the fact that the light switches are all on fiber rather than electrical. That's all new technology. And after he said it, I said, well, that makes a lot of sense, because we save a lot of money in copper. A lot of money in copper, so. And
Although
it's
it-
all new technology, so.
It does inject a whole nother layer of potential complication.
It does. It does.
You know, you used to be able to go to McDaniel's and get a 39-cent switch and
Yeah.
plug it in, fix it. Now, that ain't gonna happen
Not
anymore.
anymore. No.
Okay, that is, PA 2026.25 for $7,000.
I'll move that we accept that.
Second, that's good.
That would approve as well. Annual report. You guys are doing great work on this. Do you want our comments, if we have any now, or do you just want us to send them to you, or?
I would say just send them to us. I mean, if there's anything specific you want to go out to the public or not, but it'd be easier for us to carry, we just send them to us. Just
Okay.
to have
Just.
a little bit of data to get in there anyways.
All right. I'll send these to you then separately. But that draft looks great.
I was wondering in the report that you had a page where it had new members. And I noticed, since I've been here, that a number of these people have, that have been part-time and so forth, have moved on to other places. Are there any of those people that moved on in these pictures here?
The ones that moved on, I
No.
believe were not
No.
pictured.
None of them?
Not
No.
pictured.
Okay,
They are, they're named up there.
okay. I was just curious, because we've had a number of people that have, bought out and so forth like that, and,
Yeah, and we don't, I wouldn't say be meanly not count those, the ones you're talking about never even made it to shift.
oh, okay.
Yeah, they left before they even started working in the station. They left either before, during, or right after academy.
All right.
So if we have any comments, as you read through, send it to John and CC the chief or vice versa, whichever way you guys want.
This is perfect timing. We got 2 minutes,
2 minutes.
probably 1 minute.
Yeah,
You know,
I'll-
okay.
Are we supposed to be on?
And I will read the spiel. We have to get him on the phone first. To be legal, you have to have on the phone before you actually go into.
Oh, sir,
executive.
I'll put you on speakerphone if that works. We're still in regular session.
Okay, the board will be going into executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.110, subsection 1, subsection I, to discuss the district legal counsel litigation that the agency has been specifically threatened, to which the agency, the governing body, or a member acting in the official capacity is or is likely to become a part in litigation that the agency reasonably believes may be commenced by or against the agency, the governing body, or the member acting in an official capacity. How was that? Executive session will be for 30 minutes, ending at 5:50. So we will recess. See you back here at 10 minutes to 6. We will reconvene following conclusion of our executive session. And we were just concluding discussion of the annual report and decided that we will take a look at that, forward any comments, questions we have to the
We would hope to have the final draft at the next meeting.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Moving along, brand new fire engines. fortunate enough to have, somebody in the organization that had the foresight to go, oh, wait a minute, if we wait until whenever to order these, we're not gonna get them until 2050. So that was a good move. And it looks like, if we follow that recommendation, that we'll get them even sooner than we had originally anticipated, right? By almost a year?
2?
Oh, I misread that again, okay. Any questions, gentlemen, on the new engine apparatus?
Do they come with, when you're backing up with, noise? You know, like a beep, 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 does that happen on the engines too?
Yes.
Does that come
That's a
standard, or
required
do you
piece
have
of
to?
Safety equipment.
Cause I was looking for it in there, I didn't see it, so I was, but is that standard then?
Yes.
Okay.
You didn't see it in the options list? Is that
Yeah, I probably missed it somewhere.
what you're-
They call things weird.
It's
It might
under-
not say backup alarm, it might be the 3372.
And it's a special one that adjusts with ambient noise, so at night when there's nobody around and there's
Uh-huh.
little noise, they're not as loud as when they need to be based on the environment.
I do have a question. Is Pierce using proprietary software that if we have a simple component that has to be replaced on the engine, does it force us to use Pierce-only dealers to replace? Let's say it's a module that checks compression on cylinder number 3. It's a simple plug-and-play module, unplug it, put it back in. On some new, there's a particular tractor manufacturer that's
Yes, green in color.
been doing this to our farmers lately. They have proprietary software, so if you change out a single component on the engine, you have to take it back to them to use their proprietary software to get the engine running again. And the problem with it is then you're tied into their cost structure, whatever that may be.
Yeah, I can't speak on behalf of Pierce.
They
but I
haven't.
know wherever we take it to, our current, service fleet, they can handle it. They also have mobile service available from Hughes Fire, or it's quick trip up to Mount Vernon.
They haven't before, and I don't think Pierce would, because like the Hughes stops don't typically work on the engine.
That's
They
dumb.
give that to Cummins Northwest or Freightliner. So right now, I can't, we're 2 years out, but right now,
What,
unlike John Deere, they're not set up, the Pierce shops are not set up to do that. They specifically push any that's drivetrain transmission to that, Allison, whatever. So like,
right.
if we had, just like we did with our Spartan, we had the engine trouble, and it didn't go to True North, it went to
Cummins
Cummins Northwest.
Cummins Northwest.
Yes.
Right.
So
So it's just, yeah, I just wanted to bring it up, so we're
But-
well aware.
But if it's not a Cummins thing, the answer is yes. And that's also an NFPA requirement. We can't, whether it's a Spartan or a Pierce, if it's a Spartan or Pierce piece, we can't put and maintain warranty and NFPA and whatever, right? So,
That's fair enough.
yeah, so if it's the Pierce piece, 100%. If it's the Cummins piece or the Alice piece, not yet.
Chief, did you consider E1 or Rosenbauer or whoever, American LaFrance, I don't know even who builds fire engines anymore.
There's basically the big three. So you have Rosenbauer, you have Pierce, and you have Spartan.
So where's the one is now
Red
part of
Group-
somebody else?
Rev Group has purchased E1 and all of those other smaller manufacturers. There's like 26 manufacturers that Rev has purchased. And we're basically down to the big three.
And,
So-
and Rev is,
Rev is the parent company that now owns all of those, Spartan, E1, KME, there's a whole bunch. If you just Google Rev Group, they do fire engines and ambulances, brush trucks and ladder trucks.
okay.
I think they're based out of Florida.
And everybody knows Rosenbauer is owned by a huge, gigantic European company.
Right.
So they're basically, Pierce is now the small one.
Jake break. I saw that it has, this is getting in the weeds, but I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
I wasn't prepared for this.
It's got low, medium, and high.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have an off?
Yep.
Okay, because some
Yeah, for-
cities,
For slippery traction, especially on snow days or ice days, we won't turn it off.
okay. And that, the city codes, some places say no, although,
No compression brake?
yeah, emergencies, but if you're just driving through town on your, way to the store or something. Okay, that's all I have. Any other questions, gentlemen? So that purchase authorization, 2026 is for $2.7 million.
And,
My only,
go ahead.
we only have $1 million in that account.
Correct.
Okay, so we gotta move some money around.
Yeah, because we won't pay for it until we get it, so 28, 29. So we will be putting money in all those years.
Okay,
So that's what I said, we'll have to speed up, because we also have a ladder coming up, and so we have to get enough money for the ladder and for that, plus the million. So that's in that strategic budget that you have
yeah,
later down, has all that adjusted so that we can get enough money
okay.
in there in time.
Thank you for your work.
And then we'll be adjusting our budget to account for the fact that we'll be getting the engines earlier than normal. We'll be adjusting the future
Correct.
budgets to,
Correct. And so, if we get to the strategic, but so we're gonna put less money into the capital for these 2 years.
Yeah.
So we plan on doing the money, right, but what we're gonna do is, we're gonna put a little bit less these 2 years in the capital budget and more into the equipment. And then the 2 years after that, we're gonna put more in the capital than we thought and less in the equipment, because we'll have paid it 2 years early.
Yeah.
And so we're just shuffling around, the total dollars is exactly what we planned for.
Interest and inflation should balance out.
Correct. And that's what I was gonna say, so the price locks us in, now they have the standard caveat that if they feel like they got a bad deal, they will come and get money from us, but you can't plan for that.
price still went up 300%.
Correct.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
So,
charge you more.
and Jim, know that price is secure, and then we have enough money in there for tax and licensing, a few small things, but not really equipment, because we don't plan on buying a lot of equipment for it. Now, we might get there and if we want to increase, because we've talked about increasing our reserve status, and so we might come to you with a separate one at that time, saying, hey, let's buy some extra equipment so that we have more outfit.
Enough for one additional.
Correct, but that would be a separate thing at the time, once they figure out how they want to do that. Just saying that 2.7 is
Just buys the shiny red truck.
correct,
Engine, not truck.
correct.
Yeah. We don't have no tankers here.
Any other comments, gentlemen? Like I said, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to recognize the committee members, Doug Higby, Nate Khan, and Jose Islas. They really did the hard work, the heavy lift, and we're pretty proud of this engine. It is really a hybrid of an Everett engine, a Shoreline engine, and a South County engine. We took all of the best components that we felt would work well with our culture and how we want to serve our citizens, and kind of stole from all three of them.
And I wholly agree with your recommendation to not take those price cuts. Independent front suspension is, in my opinion, the only way to go.
Yeah, the committee, we really struggled, because really for us to cut, if we had to pick 94,000, there's not enough low hanging fruit for it to matter. We're getting into big components, and that's where we came forward with our recommendation, even though we're almost 4% over budget. I think it'll save us in the long run.
Yeah, and a Cummins engine rather than
The PACCAR.
Although PACCAR makes good equipment, it's just different.
yeah.
You know, and Sean recognized the committee, which is true, it's a lot of work, but I also wanna recognized him, this is his, I don't know what, fifth or sixth bill when you put all the rigs together. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of detail, it kind of encompasses everything, that an executive chief would do, and we are literally able to, like, I had, the most involvement I had was writing this packet for you. So, the committee, runs the committee, he makes sure that they stay on the track that we give him as the leader's intent, and then it just comes as the package you see.
Yeah. That's the epitome of delegation, right there. A fire chief friend of mine one time said, my dream is to have a group of people that I'll just show up to work one day and there'll be a new fire engine in the bay and I won't have known anything about it, except that it's here. So you're well on your way, you and your entire team, that's awesome. So I move that we approve that authorization, 2.7 million, 26.
I'll second
Okay. Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Ka-ching,
Thank you. Now I need to change pages, sorry. Part 2, this packet was so big, it was in 3 sections. Next, we are talking about fire investigation. We currently have some sort of an agreement between the county and the city of Snohomish. Are we part of that agreement, or is this between the city and the county?
Between the city and
So we're
county.
gonna insert ourselves.
Well, we're actually taking the city out, because we are the ones that call the county.
But the county is saying that it still needs to have city,
They finally agreed that they.
Oh,
the
they
city will
don't?
just-
Okay.
yeah, Will just be removed from the whole thing, so
All
it'll just
right.
be us and the county taking one party out.
okay. But there will be a fee involved for any investigation in the city, but still not in the county.
Correct.
Questions on that?
I was just wondering, as I read this, that out in the county, not in the city, but out in the county, the county fire marshal does that. So are we getting billed every once in a while for any investigations out there? Or
That's free,
that's free out there?
because it's county, and they're county fire.
Okay.
Yes, they provide it for all incorporated areas of the county.
Okay.
They will do it for the incorporated areas, but then they charge.
Yeah, okay.
And when, before, there was a butting of heads between the county and our district and about pay and not pay, we had to start paying the city, but I got the city to pay for it because that's their responsibility. And part of the ILA is when we transferred all the money that we would take that responsibility for payment over. It was one of the trades that we did in the back and forth.
So if there's been or if there has been some big fires here, and while this has been going on in the city, then the city would ask the county person to come in and do
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, that's where it's confusing. We were the ones that were asking and dealing with the county fire marshal. They sent us the report, but they billed the city.
Okay.
So now, that's why I say we're just taking the city out. So
Yeah.
we will still ask the same way, we will still get the reports, but now we will get the bill instead of the city. So up until now, there was 3 parties involved in this weird way, and we cut one part out. We don't actually change anything we're doing, and then we add that we pay the bill. So the process, the crews, Whitney and Sean, they won't know anything changed.
Yeah.
The only people that will know anything changed is Jason, I, and Thad, that have to get the bill and pay the bill.
Shauna, did you run a grammar check on this document?
Are you gonna point it out?
Well, there's just,
No, not this one.
okay, I'll send you what I found. I know I'm able about that stuff, sorry.
And it's details.
I move that we direct the fire chief to sign that agreement.
I'll second that.
Great.
Yep.
Is that a head nod? Okay.
That's a yes.
That's an acclamation. Last meeting, we asked the staff to do a little research into what options we might be able to provide people who are nearing retirement, you know, finding out if are there things that we can do to make that transition better, to make sure that after retirement, these retirees don't feel like they're just kind of hung out to dry and
Standing on the street corner with a tin cup.
yeah, I want to get out of here. And they, great work on this, by the way. A lot of information. There's a kind of a resource guide that is, what I think it's awesome. I wish I would have had something like this when I was getting ready to retire. Because it truly is comprehensive, and I think, yeah, other departments are gonna be looking at this, oh, we should do that as well, so.
Yeah, considering our employees are our number one asset, we need to look at them that way even after they're gone. So, helping out those.
And the, what did you call it, an SSA, I think is.
SSP,
SS who?
Salary Savings Plan.
Yes.
We might have had it under the agreement. We were.
SSP. Salary Savings Program, there we are.
Yeah.
That's kind of intriguing to me because it's a win-win for us as a district. Well, it's a win for us as a district, it's a win for the employee, I think. Looking at, it would certainly catch my attention if I was close to retirement age. Do you want to elaborate on that at all, Chief?
Sure, we, you gave us the direction, we weren't exactly sure what you were thinking, so we kind of
I
started.
didn't know what I was thinking either, so that was, you picked right up on that.
So we started with the resource pamphlet, that Sean did great, we all kind of worked on that to get it. We started kind of down the advisor training, and that was more difficult, and we kind of ran in, it's out there, but trying to find the right thing, so that was taking more time. We kind of ran into the salary savings program idea from some other departments, so we tried to get that up and going through the lawyers, trying to run some quick numbers, it's a balance between, right, because the savings comes in with somebody retiring before they thought they were, versus just a benefit where everybody gets it. So it's a balancing act of are we saving money, are we not? That's why I recommended 3 and letting it go for a few years, so we really get some data, is that what does this really do versus, is there hidden costs that we're not sure about? So
Yeah.
that was my recommendation. Let's start small, let's see what it does to the budget, let's see how it impacts the district, then in a few years, you guys could, 3 to 5, 6 years from now, you could, when we're getting near the end of it, we could reevaluate again, did it really do what we thought or not thought? But there's a few of these out there, and both of our lawyers, kind of had to go through both lawyers, so they've each kind of dealt with different ones from different departments, and so we were able to kind of put that together. Now, for the local, we would have to also negotiate an LOU for them to be able to agree to it.
Have you had any initial conversations with them at all?
No, I let the president know today that it was coming to the meeting, but we didn't really talk because we didn't have, you know, we have never talked to you before
Right,
this, right?
right.
So kind of coming cold to a meeting, we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves without you guys knowing where you guys sat on that. So we put everything together. It is a pretty tight timeline because the reason that we have those dates in there is that is what allows us to hire to replace them. Because that's part of the advantage of an SSP is that you know when somebody's retiring, and so you can hire them, you know, before they retire so that they're back on board really close. Because that's one of the.
Well, it's kind of similar to what we've done with staff.
Correct, and that's one of the big costs of when an operations person retires without any notice, right? Academy starts on Monday, somebody tells us they're retiring on Tuesday, we have a year of overtime to you know, get to the hiring process, get them into the next academy, get them through the academy, get them out, right? So part of the savings is we need to know when they're retiring, and we need to be able to have their replacement come on board relatively at the same time. And so the reason that we have those April and June times in there, they're not arbitrary, they're very specific so that we can hit Jason can get the hiring process done and get the person in the next academy so that they can come out by the end of the year each.
Right, right.
I had a question, would you be able to put one of those LOUs together before the June 26th deadline with the local?
Yes, we haven't negotiated, but, you know, there's not a huge amount of things that can change in there, so we cannot come to agreement. We're gonna know whether, let's put it this way, we're gonna know whether we can get one done fairly soon, let's put it that way. I don't know if we can get one done fairly soon, but we will know either we can or can't, right? Like, it won't take us much meeting to know either we are close enough to come up with an agreement, or we're not close enough to come up with an agreement. Let's put it that way.
Because just having, not having the local as a part of this savings plan to me is, so what I want to use, counter.
Yeah. It's a non-starter. They have to be involved.
We have to treat all employees with the same level of respect and offer all employees the same thing. It has to be that way. So,
And with the labor laws, we can't, if the local doesn't agree, we can't offer it to one of the bargaining unit members. So if the local says no, no bargaining unit member can take it.
can you get,
Yeah, so it's not like they can say no, and then we can go to Bob and say, hey, Bob, you still wanted it.
Still want it.
If the local says no, every bargaining unit member is uneligible.
yeah, well, hopefully that, the local sees the benefit in doing that. And, yeah, because it just helps everybody out to be a part of that.
So with the two categories, on page 36, under SSP benefits 3.2.
Is that in the resolution? My numbers are different because I combined my three packets.
Oh,
Is it in the resolution or the?
this is in the
agreement?
resolution.
Okay.
Resolution.
3.2
Okay.
says 5,000 for category 1 or 2 and 3,500 for category 3.
Mhm.
Then if you skip down into the actual agreement to 4.3 reimbursement, only mentions the 3,500.
We'll fix the agreement.
Okay.
The resolution sets
Okay.
the terms, that part of the
I
job.
just-
We had a lot going on. There's a lot of numbers and legal things, and two lawyers talking back and forth was,
I get it, okay.
was a little confusing. Yeah, so we'll fix the agreement. The resolution sets the requirements, and the agreement is just that part that they sign as the legal document.
In the attachment, I think you, 4.1.2, I think the last sentence there needs some clarification.
Yeah, it's either on, within, yeah,
Yeah.
should just be within. Or within. Okay, we'll fix that.
Given the ambitious timeline that we're looking at here, gentlemen, do you need more time to consider this, or are you comfortable?
I,
Passing the resolution?
and I'm comfortable with it.
And it's a
I mean, I've read-
temporary program, and, we'll see what happens, if anybody
Yeah,
is willing to take it or not, and,
I've taken the
and then
time.
you, like the chief said, you need to see how it works its way out over the years, for that,
Right.
that amount, so.
Like Brian said, when I retired, I wish I would have been able to have this kind of information in front of me and had that kind of offer. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of really good things in there that allow the employee to figure out, okay, what do I wanna do? What things am I interested in doing after I leave the fire department? And I'm gonna facilitate that.
I move that we adopt resolution 585, a resolution establishing a temporary salary savings program.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Fine.
Right.
Resolution is adopted. So hopefully we'll get a favorable response from the local, and we can see if it'll have a positive impact.
Yeah, yeah.
Station 44, as we all know, needs,
Can you hold on just a
Oh.
sec here? Sorry, just confirming to make sure we have all the legal parts. Okay.
the building wasn't built yesterday, and it has some issues, and it also isn't ideally suited for what we want to use it for in the future. So we're looking at having an architect come and work with us and figure out some options down there, and see if it's financially feasible, or prudent, or smart, or a good idea or not. Did I miss anything on that?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, that, we hope to bring you some range of options, what we recommend as a base, the lowest level, and
Yeah.
then what might be different levels of things to consider. But we'll have to work through that, hopefully it doesn't come back with all required. We'll look at things like roof and structure and HVAC and electrical and, like I said, the layout for the intended use compared to what it is now, and any code upgrades and things like that.
Are we still doing just basic maintenance on the building right now?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the HVAC was replaced last year.
last year, yep.
I don't remember something about poles or posts or something.
Yeah, the 2 posts at the front door. We have not done those, but they're certainly on the list.
It just popped in my brain.
Yep.
And same for 42, right? We're kind of continuing on, making sure it doesn't fall down around us.
That one we're quickly ramping down.
Doing
We-
less.
We should be demoing it in 28.
Hopefully 27.
No.
Oh, 42.
Yeah.
Yeah, 28, yes.
We'll start in 27, but demo it in 28.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're 2 years away from demo.
Okay.
So we're trying to only do things that have to be done in the next
Got
2
it.
years.
2 years, right? Safety items. and
Correct.
Things like that, yeah.
So that eval for Station 44 is purchase authorization 2026.27 for $50,000 to Lyon, right?
Correct.
Any objection for that going forward, gentlemen?
No, I think that's good. They've been a really good firm dealing with on all our other construction projects, and looks like they do excellent work, so.
School district has agreed to allow us access into their backbone fiber. Connect up, well, have redundant redundant connectivity, right?
That, and it'll be the primary for our connection to dispatch.
Oh,
So it's our primary connection to dispatch and our redundant internet.
well, that's even more important.
And right now we pay the county for that connection. And the county uses the school district fiber. So if we just use the school district fiber, we won't have to pay anything for the same connection.
That we're paying the county
County
for.
for. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out the problem
The sublease of the sublease?
there. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And then the school that's a pretty easy one, but the school district did a fair amount of work to get us to be able to back up. Because they buy the internet from a big school consortium, and we're not supposed to be part of it, and so they had to do a bit of work to convince them to let us use it on an emergency basis.
Oh,
And so again, free for what we provide the school district through the CPR classes and the football games.
Right, which, just the football games period, if they were paying that,
the going rate for
the
that?
going rate for EMTs or paramedics for a football game,
Yeah, so it's a good deal for both
it's a
sides.
really good deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you need to direct you to sign that ILA? Is that-
Yep, direct, approve, bless.
I move that we direct the chief to sign the ILA as written.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Just a separate one, I think I emailed you, but we've been working with the school district for the maintenance,
Yeah,
and that
fell apart.
fell apart. They can't find any insurance that will cover them for our being there, which,
That's-
yeah, seems, but if and when I get some extra time, I will maybe work out that some more, but right now it's down the list already.
Chief Mansfield? Yes, sir. You need to not run so fast on the treadmill.
Yeah,
It's clearly
no
not.
sprinting.
You broke
No
that
sprinting.
sucker.
At a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
It's just not good.
Or were you just banging your head on it?
Yeah, it's not, I would say that, I don't know that I've ever even been on that treadmill.
Oh, now we know the problem. Dust gathering on the
That's
gears.
right, that's right.
Is anybody opposed to buying a new treadmill? No. That's PA 2026.28 for,
23, I believe.
oh, did I miss that?
Is that right? Okay, 23.
Oh. 23, 2026, 23. For the exact amount of $4,424.46, including delivery, installation, and removal of the old equipment. That good?
Second.
Richard, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. That is approved.
And we also need a transfer.
Oh, and the transfer of $2,000 from F70 to line item 3504.
And that's, just to clarify, general reserves F70, to line item 3504.
Did I not say that?
You didn't say general reserves.
Oh,
3504.
I have it written right here, general reserves. that's-
3504 is in F70 already, so that would get all tied up by the auditor.
So why didn't you jump on me rather than
Just
let
about
me-
to.
I know, I didn't want to
Go,
go there. Then we would have both got it. He trains me. I don't like it when he gets yelled at by auditor, because then I get yelled at.
Okay. And, oh. Change pages once more. We're in part 3 now. Well, this is easy. We have 5 large warrants totaling about 1.5 million approximately. And they are 26.14 through 26.18 for Lawhead, 2 for Skyline, and 2 for GenCap.
I was gonna say, I noticed that interspersed among these things are conditional and unconditional warrants and releases. And they're there, we keep those, right? To let us know that the subs got what they needed to get, okay?
Yeah.
And that's so, have there been any that, I guess I don't know about the unconditional and conditional, what's the difference between those two?
I would actually have to have Lawhead or
Okay.
Ralph give you the details of that. So the way the pay app works is it, just so you know, it goes to, GenCap makes it goes to Lawhead, that head will give corrections, when they're finally done, it goes to Ralph, then it comes to me, then it goes to Thad. So it's been checked over a lot, and I don't know the difference, but yes, those are what those are. And so as they finish, I do know as they finish subs, then that's when it gets released. So like, we've actually done some releases because we're getting to the end. I can't remember which one it is. You know, but like maybe the drywall stuff, right? They're all done. And so they've actually, because we're getting towards closeout, that's part of that document. They're starting to release release those for the subs that are 100% done, and that the engineer and the architect have all agreed that, and obviously GenCap, that their work is done and completed and the way it was supposed to be, and there is no more checklist touch-up items. So I don't know if that's the difference between those or not. I can ask them if you'd like.
Yeah, I think that would, I think if we're supposed to keep those things, and it goes through the L&I, who the workers are and all that kind of stuff, I think it'd probably be important to know, why is one's conditional, one, isn't, I guess that's my thinking on that anyway.
We will find that out for you.
Okay, thank you.
We will still keep them all the same.
But no, that's okay. No, but yeah, they look all the same, except that's written on one of them, so I.
Yeah.
Any other comments? I move we approve those 5 large warrants, 26.14 through 26.18.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay.
We have a number of strategic documents that were included in the packet this morning, all of which are important and carry the witness of a great amount of work done by the staff. I've read through, reread, and I think they're spot on to where we questions or comments?
No, I'd have to agree with your sentiment on that plan, yeah, very well done.
And just, it's gonna reiterate it, 'cause Richard's back on the board, so I don't know what was said, but,
Oh, right.
you know, these are, the kind of the flow is we look at these in the spring after the year before, right, during the annual report time, you know, not exactly, but just like this. Then, we will hit the annual budget in October as we're coming up for 27, then we will wrap up 26 right after that, and then in the fall, and then we go back into the strategic auction in the spring. So we're kind of looking at these, especially the budgets twice a year, the strategic documents once a year, fitting that in with our annual budget to make sure that all those, you know, those priorities are getting funded and now and can be funded in the future. And that we are all on the same page of where we're prioritizing our energy and resources.
Are we still on track to try to get some strategic planning going in Q3 or 4?
Yeah, it's on, we just have to get an RFP put together here in the next few months, to get out. I don't know if you have some that you like, or if we grab some from some people around here that have done some, or it's really getting an RFP process that we wanna do.
Yeah. Don't need any action on
I would like, because they are an official document, so I would, when you guys are ready, you can do it now, you can do it next meeting, but I would like, what we've done in the past is you to adopt these 4 documents so that they're official from you, not just our musings.
that, right? Adopt. I see
yeah.
the recommendation.
Yeah, so.
Because were some amendments in.
Correct, we have changed them. You know, last year, there wasn't a whole lot of changes to the 2 strategic docs, because we haven't done much, but this year now, we did
A
so
lot
much.
has transpired.
Yeah, we did so much in the last year that they have, you know, meaningfully changed. The budgets are always just kind of updating, so do they change a whole lot? No, but they're, you know, I'm updating the accurate numbers from the year before, and so nothing really in the budgets has changed priority-wise, but the numbers have changed because we've got better numbers, and every year we get closer to a year, we update those. Obviously, like the cash flow is different, because we're expecting to bond less than we thought last year because we're coming in under budget, and so that's a big deal. And, you know, I don't like to talk about it in public until you guys have adopted it, but, you know, I think I'd have to look at last year's, but 5 or 7 million less in debt than we thought a year ago.
Yeah.
Which I think is you know, an important thing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you want to ponder these for another meeting?
I found a grammatical error in the first part, I'll tell them all.
So
But,
let's put it on the next meeting agenda for adoption.
Okay.
but in the strategic budget part, I noticed there's a number of things that are unfavorable.
That are,
Unfavorable, it says unfavorable, they're in brackets. And I was wondering if there's, are we looking at how to solve those, or just let them ride, or how is that?
Yeah, so.
I don't know what,
Yeah.
how you've been working it here for the last couple of years, how that.
That's a good example. So that's favorable, unfavorable for a 37% target of reserves. Most organizations our size will have in the high teens to low 20s. So we're very much more conservative in our reserves than most. And so I don't want to make it sound trivial, but 300,000 out of a $20 million budget is almost a rounding error in my calculations when we're looking 4 years out. So I don't get worried about those. What I'm looking at is a trend, right? So if that 300,000 became 600,000 the next year, and then it became 2 million the year after that, like that would show me that we are in a bad spot. But going from minus 142 to minus 3 to the next year being positive 700,000, those are just the normal fluctuations, right? And we could get new construction, could come in better, you know, because I underestimated revenue. You know, so like this year, we brought in, I think like almost 900,000 more in new construction than I was anticipating. So one little change like that could take that negative and make it hugely positive. So I don't want to be changing our priorities when it's just those normal fluctuations. So I'm not gonna look at that until I get a trend that's going wrong, and then we would fix that. Especially because that's why I put that, example right below it as a 32%.
Yeah.
That's to show you, that's still above most organizations our size, and you can see just changing our target from 37 to 32 makes all those negatives go away.
Sure.
And you guys could do that with a stroke of a pen and still be far above industry standard.
Thanks for that explanation. That was about the only thing,
Okay.
that I was going to, question about this, if we'd come back again, you know, so. That took
Well,
care
let's take an opportunity to really digest it, make sure that
Okay.
we're,
Make sure we
yeah,
all
we'll
understand all
put it on the
the
agenda for next
Yeah,
meeting.
there's no hurry, these don't,
All right.
nothing relies on these are for us in the community.
Chief Freighter,
Yes, sir.
we have an audit that we just completed.
We did. Thank God.
I'm going to hold my tongue. If I can.
Craig held his for years.
Well, maybe I should share it with
It
you.
was ours.
I don't
It was
know.
ours.
It's Chief and I's joy all the time. We're happy to share with you.
I'm glad that we were not found to be in violation of anything significant. Or anything at all.
Yeah, as you say, anything at all, they found a couple of minor recommendations, but, and I would venture to say they always will. It's really what you're there for, and they change the rules all the time, so it's kind of tough even keeping up with them on the rule changes every year, but.
For the sake of those in the room and those who are watching and who may watch at some point in time, from a personal standpoint, I just cannot understand. I said I would let it pass, but I just can't. The state auditor's office requires us to keep track of our money in a certain way, right? But then when they come to audit us, we are audited using a different system. And they tell us that. And then they say, and even though we can't find anything wrong, we're pretty sure there is something wrong.
No fundamental errors.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it makes absolutely no sense to me.
And we get to pay for it.
And we pay them
And we
to
get
tell
paid
us,
them
to tell us that, yeah. But we need it, it has to be done. Chief Rader has done an exemplary job for, is this number 4 now for you?
Yeah, it's 3.
Yeah. In keeping us out of their crosshairs, and I thank you for that. Do you want to add anything?
No, not really. It was actually a pretty positive process this year. Probably somewhat because I've been through it a couple times, and we had a new auditor, new to us. He had more experience than the last auditor, so last one was cutting their teeth on us and
Yeah.
painful for us too, so. But all in all, yeah, great experience this year, so. And they're not going away.
Right, as long as we are where we are with bonding and stations and everything, it's prudent for us to make sure that everything is right.
Yeah, and next year, you know, what I'm filing right now is what they're gonna be looking at next review process, which is all the bonding and all that stuff. So they haven't even looked at that. They're aware of it. You know, so I disclose that to them, but.
So this was for 2023 and 24.
It was, correct. It was a procedural audit for 23 and 24 and finance audit for 24.
Okay.
We're actually, if you remember, we went to an annual process.
Right.
And then because an audit took a really long time, they offered us putting a biennial. And right when they did that, then we went out for bond and realized we needed an audit, a financial audit on a one-year cycle. We needed it quickly, and they did that for us. So that took that 2023 audit out of the two-year cycle. And so then when they came back, they did the 23-24 procedural and then the 24 financial.
And the audit they just finished now was for 24?
No, that's the one I'm filing. We're always in some process of essay audit, as you see it on my reports constantly, because it's got me to.
That has at least 2 audits going at any one time, and sometimes 4 or 5,
Yeah.
but never 0. 0 is never the number.
It's exhilarating.
All right,
But so, no, I'm just now filing the 2025 audit.
okay.
That deadline is always the end of May. So once we complete our year, we've got about 5 months to file the audit, and then they begin review of it anytime really between April, so before it's even due, to the next year before usually before their due filing, so. And we've opted for like a September start time, September, October. They started a little bit late last year, but
Thank you.
yeah, you bet.
Thank you.
You bet.
Moving on to change orders for Station 41. Chief, a question I have is, and I think I know the answer to this. Some of these change orders are not really change orders. They are items that we knew were coming, right?
Correct.
But we didn't know how much they were gonna cost for sure. And because the timing of them and all that stuff was in flux, they were included in this whole change order package.
Correct.
And then some of them are actually changes.
Correct.
Things that we decided, oh no, we want the light switch over there rather than over here. Or we want brown brick instead of red brick, whatever.
So and then we gave you a new sheet. We printed it out and emailed it to you. So there's 2 changes.
Yep.
Just to look at that. But obviously the furnishings on the left-hand side is all not change orders, obviously. The reason what makes it a change order is because if we go through GenCap, it is technically a change order. But if you look, the PPE lockers at the top of the change orders, all the way through gym mats, those were all things that we planned to do outside of GenCap. Then it became more feasible, either cost-wise or work-wise or whatever, to have GenCap do it. So they basically moved into the GenCap arena as a change order.
Okay.
But yeah, they were all
Did
planned.
we pay a premium for that?
No, so
Oh.
all those things we, like they normally charge a 9%.
Yeah.
Right, so like we negotiated the PPE lockers in the fab shop down to a 4%. But they did a bunch of work for us. I mean, tracking it and getting delivered and stuff. And so most of them, they have been really good to work with it to say like, because we're doing a lot of the work, signage, we've done a lot of the work, they'll do some. And so we negotiated different fees down depending on how much work we do for it and how much work they do for it. And it helps us put it in the right budget. So like gym mats is actually not going through GymCap, but it's part of the building, and so we put it in the change order bucket instead of the furnishing bucket, because it was always planned to come out of the building budget and not the furnishing budget. So you've approved a lot of these. We've tried to make it look a little nicer, so we took out that coloring and the line, but you've approved down through where the X's are. So you're really just approving below that, and then we're giving you an update of where we are on the costs of those. Obviously, a lot of them are coming in under what we planned, because we always try to make sure that we have enough. And so once they get finalized, we'll keep putting those numbers in and keeping you updated of where we're at real time. But we need your approval for those ones that don't have X's.
So we're taking the dishwasher out?
That one was a miscommunication, so Law Ahead had put the same commercial dishwasher that is in the crew kitchen in the staff kitchen. Way more than we need.
Okay.
So we actually got one that's way nicer than the residential, it's a 2-drawer one, and still saved.
Okay, so there's still a dishwasher.
There's still a
there.
dishwasher, it's just
All right.
much cheaper.
Because I saw that, I wonder why they just gonna wash them in the sink, I guess.
Yeah, we thought we were upgrading, so we asked them to do a nicer one, and we thought we were upgrading, and when they came back, I did, well, how was it cheaper? We asked you for a bigger one, and then that's when you did, so. That's one of those things that went 400 ways in the design, and it ended one way, and we thought it ended a different way.
Sure.
What do the name, plates, what do they all cover? Like on the door? These
So-
things here?
Yeah, so on our doors, on the PPE lockers, on the kitchen lockers, on the dorm lockers. Yeah, PPE lockers, right. Anything else, Greg?
No, dorm lockers, PPE lockers, kitchen lockers.
Offices,
And the offices, yes.
so just all kinds of things in the station. Some of it's admin side, some of it's the crew side. But we have everybody's name, and then if they change stations, they can take their name. Obviously, once we get all 3 stations done, they'll be all set the same, so they would take their nameplates and put it in the new station, or their new station, and the new people would put their nameplates on there, so everybody knows where their PPE is and all their stuff.
That's good.
Did the city, I'm guessing they did, what was the city's share on changing the bulb outs?
I wanna say the total was like 80, and ours is 9.
Okay.
So they had 100% of the one, which I think was 7, maybe have been 81, I think it was 72, and then the fourth was 18, so they got 9 of that, we got 9, so they're at 81, we're at 9, so 90 total.
Okay. What's smart film?
That's that stuff that we can turn on and make dark or clear for
Oh,
the
that's,
windows.
I thought that was, the teller glass.
No, the terra glass is actually the glass. So we had
Oh.
in there.
So is it, like security glass?
No, we had plexiglass. The smartphone can't go on the plexiglass, so we had to change to glass.
Wait, where was their plexiglass?
Right there where those were,
Really?
or Lexan or whatever they're called. It was, the material we had there was not.
Polycarbonate.
Polycarbonate. It was not compatible with the
Huh.
film. And then we added more because they had it where it was stopped like right here, and it was like 12 inches, and we changed it to just the cutout. So we changed it from polycarbonate to glass, and then we added more glass, and we made a fancy cutout. So it's more than just changing it to glass.
Oh. Should have been glass all along.
But it's saving one. But yeah, so the smartphone they won't warranty that it doesn't go on glass.
Glass, yeah.
All right.
So it's like 8-inch glass now. We want to protect it.
Bomb-proof.
Yeah, you look, it's like clown on the other side.
It's
but-
the leftover.
It'll take an RPG to get through.
It's the leftover material from the aquarium
Yeah,
rebuild project
exactly.
downtown Seattle.
Exactly. In fact, the cost is actually beefing up.
2
the
tubes of
structure.
silicone, you're golden.
Yeah.
Right? Any other comments, gentlemen? I move we approve those, change orders.
And just to clarify, the non-skid will be the 12,000 at the corrected copy we keep.
Yeah.
Okay. And that, what we're doing is we're changing to a painted on product instead of a stick on product.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they had always had a better luck with stick on, and we made them go look, and they talked to Seattle and Tacoma, and both Seattle and Tacoma had found a newer paint on product that they've used since the stick-ons put down. It seems to do better with the hydraulic oil and gas, so I think we're gonna move to that.
Okay. You're gonna have to put rug for meeting room.
Probably. We'll just give you one tile you can take with you.
Wherever you're at, wherever you're at.
I'm partial to soft floors in meeting rooms, just because acoustically it's far superior than having a hard surface. Is there a dollar amount associated that we need to?
No, you're just doing
Just
each individual
approving.
dollar amount, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're totaling it as we go.
All right, and we proved that, gentlemen?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Last item is taking a look at, just reviewing the agreement that we have for RLB, seeing if everything there is still workable, still, Chief, you want to fill this in?
Yeah, I would say, there's been some significant changes the last couple months in the county as a whole, which where, Jason can speak more, but we're trying to get our head wrapped around. We were really moving towards I briefed you where we were doing training, with, especially Surfer and South County, and the training departments were working together, and they were building to get, common calendars. Well, in the last 2 months, that's all gone. Like, all gone from the chief level. I don't know what they're doing on the operations level, but at the chief's level, the current chiefs want nothing to do with that. There was talk about going their own ways in academy. I think what we came up with was probably gonna go from 2 academies to 1 academy, which causes some discussions with that. We've reached out to the state to figure out if we can get people into the state academy and how that's all gonna work for us. Space is becoming more challenging at the RLB, just us getting there versus Surfer being there, and the scheduling, just time-wise. So there definitely has some been, and I don't have a lot, because this has all been in the last 2 months, but we had agreed to an ILA that put it all together, that a subcommittee, myself, Chief Vanderpool, and Eastman had worked a year also on the attorneys, and we had a meeting last month, and the new chiefs just said, no, start over. So they're starting to work on a whole new ILA. We never got it to bring it to you, because it was gone. We're working on one that doesn't include any of that stuff, any of the collaborative stuff. So it's definitely quickly changing landscape, how we're training together in the water team, the tech team. Jason has more on that, but that's changing quickly. So a lot has changed, and we aren't sure how it's all going to impact, and we're really trying to make sure that we prioritize us first, which is becoming more challenging. I'll let Jason has more of the specifics. I have more of the philosophical side.
Yeah, I guess my concern is that they're not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. Each agency can make their own assessment of what participation level at the county level they want to do. My concern for District 4 is specifically for our agency, and this agreement, when it was executed almost 2 years ago, was we were heading in one direction. Now there seems to be a little bit of unknown. In fact, I think reversing, heading in a different direction. In the impacts to our agency with this agreement, and I'm leaning towards, I think we need to give notice to cancel it, to be honest. Because the cancellation could take up to a year by ILA. Like, either party can give each other notice. I think we need to be a little bit nimble, because we don't know what's gonna happen with the fire academy. If the county does go down to 1 academy, that means we have to look at other options, which means RLB may need to be available for us for pre and post academy, which may not line up with other entities. So I hate to say be greedy, but it's our facility and I wanna make sure our members are taken care of first. And if the same amount of effort is being put forth, I think we need to protect ourselves and be able to adjust to those. I don't see how one academy a year would work fantastic for our size agency, if that's what they end up going to.
What's their reasoning for going to one?
Well, I don't know all the, I'd only be speculating, but I know Surfer's doing a big lateral hire, so they may be thinking, maybe we get enough hires, we don't have to have anybody in an academy for a year. So that could be their,
Well,
I'm
who-
speculating.
Well, it takes care of 1 year.
Correct.
And I guess the question is, who decides how many academies there will be?
So we have the different cabs in our cab, the consortium admin board, which is the 6 signing ILA chiefs, so us, South County Surfer, Everett, Marysville, and North County.
Okay.
So we're deciding, and like I said, we thought we were one way. A couple new chiefs came in and want to go a different way. And then obviously there's probably some middle of the road chiefs and then, some on one side. I think the push for the One Academy is, we've been working really hard to show the true cost of the academy, and it was really expensive. Because we have to maintain the overhead year round. So I think one of the ideas is going to one, they don't have to pay for the overhead year round. And there's a lot of individualistic looking right now, especially the people that pay the biggest majority to keep it running all the time. So there's a thought that they can do things on their own if and when needed. And then they don't have to pay as much to that overhead.
Sure.
And they have large staff, and so they may feel that overhead is a cost that is, that they don't need to bear.
It doesn't mean if this ILA, if whatever's decided, if the board evaluates and comes to the same conclusion, there's still some unknowns in here, but it doesn't appear to be trending towards working together. It seems like it's trending more towards their focusing on their own agencies, where I'm gonna say is that we may need to look at protecting our agency too, and having that agreement with another agency that can calendar and schedule may make it challenging for us if we have to pivot. It doesn't mean that prior to this agreement, any agency could fill out a facility use and rent it. We did this IOA to make that more streamlined, so it doesn't mean other agencies couldn't rent the facility. It would just mean there'd be more of an approval process than there is now, and we'd have the ability to say no, because we actually have a pre-academy going during that time, so that's not a good time. I'd also say just in the next 18 months with this room being up in the air and construction, the classroom is going to probably be needed more. Everything from local meetings to things that we used to host in here, that might be the only logical site to do some of that. So it's gonna be in more demand. And I guess my concern is if we have to pivot quickly with an IOA, it's gonna be a little more challenging to do that. It'd be better to be facility use at that point. And again, we're doing some other cooperative training, and there's some suggestions recently on water that there might be a fee for CE if you sign up. There's a lot of unknowns. I'm meeting with their ops chief next week to find out more on some of the tech side, because like the county tech team doesn't charge a CE fee for somebody to come maintain a server, but that's being floated right now for water. Any water CE, they want Surfer wants to charge us a fee if we have any members participate. I'm still learning information on what that looks like. So there's some unknowns, but I just know that I don't want our agency to be behind the 8 ball, especially if the academy ends up changing. we may send people to the state academy, which means is a different calendar. You know, we might send to both. We might have a group in the state academy, because if they go down to one academy, county does, we can't afford to have 6 people retire in June and wait almost a year before we send people. So we're gonna need more options, which means our pre and post academy aren't gonna line up with some of the bigger agencies that might only hire once a year, which means we're gonna need a facility
Yeah.
to run those, and so I see it being not that Surfer wouldn't be able to use a facility, I'm just leaning towards not having an official agreement anymore, they would have to mother may I on this day, as opposed to it being assumed through the ILA, they can lock it down.
You had mentioned something about Surfer looking for maybe people laterally moving.
They're doing a lateral test, yeah, so
Is that affecting any of our people here?
potentially, yeah.
You know,
Because then we'd be the same as if people retire, if they are gone.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody laterals, we've had people lateral out before, and if that happens, then we'll have to hire, but,
Okay.
so we may have some people in that pool that get offered, we actually don't know, so.
Do they have a lot of people retiring over there,
I
or
really,
you have no?
yeah, I don't,
Or maybe
there's a lot of
more-
information I don't know, so I would preface as saying this is less about the other entities in the county
Yeah.
and more about me evaluating,
Right.
protecting our position. I can't control what other agencies and don't know what their rationale is, and quite honestly don't care. I just know that we need to be able to pivot as District 4 and put ourselves in the best position.
Right. This wouldn't happen this time, but let's use that example. So potentially, they could hire our people from us because they're paying a premium to them to not have to send them through academy. So they go to one academy because they're taking the people that we send to the academy and paying a premium. Then they all need to do some type of training for those people. That could be happening at the RLB, which will lock it up so that we couldn't do the training for the new people that we're hiring to replace the people that they're hiring from us that they're training in our facility. So this is where it's getting.
Who's on first?
This is where it's getting so convoluted that Jason is saying, we need to step back and, right, because when we decided the idea was that we would just be one training department by now.
Mhm.
And it really didn't matter, right? 'Cause we were going towards this path that we were just one big group, that we were training together, we were doing academies together, everything was together, and it really wouldn't matter if we showed up at our facility or South County's, but that is all gone. We're going really quickly, the opposite, like really quickly, like Jason said, Jason and I can't keep up. We're going so quickly. And so it seems a little worrisome to us that we are locked into that for so long, and we're gonna, because of the 6, we're the smallest, right? So we're the ones that have to make the most adaptation and changes, and it is our advantage compared to them to be nimble, and that keeps us from being nimble. So we've taken our one biggest advantage and kind of locked it up, and kind of taken the facility, the training facility, it's a huge asset, but that nimbleness is what I consider our number one asset compared to the bigger agencies in the county, but we kind of locked that away in this agreement. And I think that at this time, at least, it would be a good thing to have with this unknown going forward, and we're kind of having to react to what everybody else is doing, because we are the smaller of the group.
Until we see what their changes long-term, or if they're gonna present that or whatever.
Yeah, when we wrote this agreement, there's either party, the agreement is done in December, I believe, June of 28. So it was a 4-year agreement with the option to extend if either party decides they no longer want to be part of this ILA, they could give notice in its 365-day notice. My fear is, I don't know what's gonna happen a year from now, but if we don't do something now, I don't wanna wait a year, find out something significantly changed, and then have to give another year notice. So My, thought is to protect ourselves the most is either we give notice or we make a major overhaul, say a 30-day notice to terminate. If they don't take that, then we give them the 365-day notice. I just know we have to be able to adjust and, use that facility and possibly on short notice. And I don't want somebody else locking that facility down.
Yeah, the only, I guess, my only comment would be is that we want to try to be as open as we can so that we're not shutting ourselves out from doing mutual training and things like that. So that the other agencies know that, hey, we're just, for right now, protecting our assets. But we still would like to pursue doing,
And like Jason said, we still want to rent them, so, and this was the idea, so I don't want to make this sound bad, right? Like, when we went into this agreement, we were like, hey, let's just treat us as one, it is one.
right.
So they just show up and do their thing,
Right.
which is what the agreement was intended for.
Yeah.
All Jason is saying is, because we have some known, we want to just go back to the old way where you have to schedule ahead of time. So we
Right.
can say, no, we're doing that, we're busy. So there is no intent to not let them use it.
Right.
It is more of, we want a clear, the old way was a clear way of asking, getting permission, scheduling, tracking.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. yeah.
They do, at times Surfer will have events go on down there that they want the whole facility shut down and don't want anybody else there for evaluations, what have you, their training division does a great job. They will sometimes, put stuff on the calendar 9 months ahead. Well, when I don't know when we're running a pre-academy, I don't want 2 weeks to Surfer to have it locked down for a truck academy they're doing for their department.
Right.
When it lines up with, we happen to hire and I now need it for pre-academy and get into this. Well, we had a reserve first, and
Sure,
so
right.
that's the challenges. And again, I'm trying to put us in the best position that a year from now, we basically own our training site for whatever we need to use it for, and we don't have to deal with scheduling conflicts. And I don't know what's gonna happen the next year. I just know that if we delay too long, eventually something's gonna potentially happen,
Right.
we need it,
Yeah.
and then we give notice, and we have to work it out for a year before we can actually change.
So, you were talking about scheduling right now. And, it seems in this agreement, as I'm looking at it here, it's supposed to be cooperative. And, you knowing ahead and what they're doing, and we can let them know what we're doing. And if that's not happening, then somebody on their side sounds like they've broken the agreement.
It is cooperative to the extent, it is cooperative, I don't wanna say it's uncooperative, it's cooperative to the extent the way it's actually, despite what may be on paper, the way it's administrated is they have, our training division, theirs have a shared calendar, they both have permissions to put stuff in, and we've been going almost 2 years, so that's, again, we were going in one direction, that's been fine. The changing piece is the potential for one academy a year. That's new information, like brand new. That's like 2 weeks old. That could really challenge the use of our ROV, especially if we have to go on a different cycle. Like if Everett, South County, and Surfer are able to pull off as a larger agency one academy a year, we may not be able to, which means I'm now putting somebody in the state academy in January, and I need our training site for pre and post, which isn't gonna line up. We may also put people in the Snohomish County one.
So as a large agency, one of the benefits for them is they're fairly consistent. You know, like Spokane, Seattle, you hire almost the same every year. You have some peaks, but you can plan. Right? Spokane was 10. We hired 10 a year. I mean, if you look at the averages, it was almost exactly 8, 11. But what that means is, so Surfer can say, hey, we're gonna run an academy, lateral, whatever, in December, and book it the December before. we don't do that, right? You've seen us, we go years and years with no retirements, and then we might have some. So what Jason's trying to say is Surfer will cooperatively tell us, hey, we're gonna take all of December. We didn't have anything going, okay. Then we get notified of 2 retirements in June, and we're gonna need it in December, but now we can't because we said yes back when they were doing it. So it's not that they're not cooperative,
Yeah.
it's just, once they lock it down per the agreement, we're treating it like that. Versus the old way, we could have told them, and we could change the agreement, but that wasn't the intent last year. In the old way, we would say, you want it in December, we'll tell you, we'll let you know in July. Like, we're gonna,
Sure.
we have you penciled in, but we're not gonna give you a hard yes until July, even if you call us in June. And so that's more of what we'd go back for. It would be a rental, and we could just tell them, we can't approve it until July. Where this was supposed to be cooperative, meaning like if they come to us and we say yes 12 months in advance, then we're that. And so that's what we're trying to say is we just need to have, we need to go back to the old way where it's less cooperative. You know, because when we went into this agreement, it was supposed to be like 50-50, and we want to go back to the old way where we're above them.
So how do we go back to the old way?
We have to give them notice to break the ILA. And then it's a 365-day waiting period per the ILA.
Except, there is
And that's
nothing,
the only way.
there is nothing in here that prevents the parties from making it less than 300.
Yes, correct. Correct.
They-
We're
You
using
could mutually.
Right.
Yeah.
We're using base case scenario. So what I would do if I was talking to Chief Park and you guys agree to this, I would say, hey, we think on February, already booked on the thing, then I'd come to Jason, be like Aaron, and be like, hey, they still want to do this February thing, is that okay? Yes, right? So it is not like we want to hard cut them off like you said. We just want to give them notice that we need to roll it back just one level until the county figures out.
Till everybody else figures out their plan.
Yeah, because like I said, we're being reactionary and they're kind of driving, and this is not in a negative way, but Surfer's one of the ones driving this new train because they're the second largest, right? So they kind of are in a pole position and we're at the back, and for us, it's a little frustrating when you got the person driving the train changing, also collaborative with us at the RLB, but not collaborative with us on what the future is gonna be.
Right, yep.
And that, to me, I think is more concerning, is what has precipitated this change? Since I was elected, and Craig as well, we've been really working towards figuring out ways to be regionally collaborative at the commission level, at every level that we can. And it looked like it was having some traction and things, and then all of a sudden, now with a change in administration at South County and at Surfer, it has reversed. And so I don't know if it's just that change in administration or if there is now rethinking on the part of the commissioners, because I don't know.
I don't know.
But it's concerning to me.
Because the medical trust was the exact same way with the exact same dynamic. So that was kind of the first.
That we didn't start, though. We were talking about.
Correct, I mean, it fell apart right at the end in the exact same way, so it was kind of like the prelude to the consortium, training consortium, but just to say, like you were talking, Brian, it's not just the training, because
Right.
there was a whole nother thing that ended in almost, identical circumstances a month or two before, I don't remember what it actually was, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm just trying to agree with you, like, it's not just it's not that this is a one-off, it is more.
Right.
That's what's concerning Jason and I, is it's more philosophical, and that's why we're looking at,
It's an indicator of
we're looking down the road,
something deeper.
like we're supposed to for you guys, saying, we see potential trouble on the horizon, and we need to start figuring ourselves out before the train hits us. And so we're just giving you the warning that we feel uncomfortable right now, and we would feel more comfortable having a little bit more of our own stuff in there, because there's just a lot of warning signs out there, and we don't wanna get to the horizon and you ask us why we didn't warn you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Without spending a whole lot of time in doing this, I would like to ask if you could put together 2 paragraphs of, in training or in operations or wherever you have seen that kind of pullback. So, because I would like to have ammunition when I go and talk to the commissioners and say, what's going on? You're doing this and this and this and this and this, why? So if I could get a little list of some kind, that'd be
Yeah.
very helpful for me as I talk to Jim and to Jim. Yeah.
It's, you know, just in general, I'm not throwing any bets, because it's the normal. I've been the big, agency in the room, and it just feels a lot like, well, we don't want to give up control, and we don't want to give up, you know, not just that one, but it's like, when you collaborate, the whole, you know, we talk about like, collaboration, you have to give something up, everybody does, right? And you have to trust, and you have to assume things are gonna work out, and it feels like there's a lot of, just like we're doing right now. I mean, I'm saying, I'm doing the same thing with saying we should break this, but we feel like we're being reactionary to the other ones. We were giving a lot the last 2 years, and it felt like it was going away, but it feels like there's a lot of, protectionism in the groups, and I don't know if that's coming from the chiefs or the commission. It could be coming from the local or through the chiefs, or the break and file, like, who knows how it goes, right? Just like our organization, we have many factors that are going into that, so I don't wanna put it to a person or administration or a board, but the feeling in the organizations as a whole is much more, you know, protectionism,
Right.
individualism. We need to make sure that we take care of ourselves first, and if I don't get everything that's great for my organization, then we don't need to do it. So, and again, I don't know if Aaron wants to speak or not, if he's seeing changes at his level or not, or if it hasn't filtered down, or if it's coming up, or.
I've definitely seen changes in retraction from some collaboration on different levels. I know the EMS side, I can speak a little bit to it just because of the schedule and things that have been taken off of the plans going forward. I know I am still striving. I feel like it is Chief's desire to be collaborative when and wherever possible. I am still attempting to do that on a quarterly and annual training basis with different standards and state requirements that we have to have. I think we gain in that value with the working with people around us, and I don't think I'll ever lose sight of that through Chief's recommendation and wish for that. But there's definitely pullback from a couple different agencies, and that makes it difficult.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't want us to stop trying to be collaborative. I will push that with everything. But it's that balance between being collaborative and getting taken advantage of. And I don't mean that to be in a bad way of surfer. I mean that, like, they say more of it, where we hit this conflict that either of us didn't see coming. So when I say, I don't have to say bad about them specifically, but at some point, as much as you want to be collaborative, and you have to give to be collaborative, you also can't, get taken advantage of.
You also have to protect yourself in the long run, yeah.
Well, and maybe that's what these other agencies are feeling. If they feel like they have been providing too much, and they're saying, oh, well, yeah, it's great, but it's.
Right, yeah, if we can figure that out.
I'm gonna have conversations.
And as you know, that there's a natural, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward.
Yeah.
So I always try to look at the positive. This might be a little reset to let people catch their breath. Maybe we push too far too fast.
All right,
Right.
especially with two new chiefs, the organizations are gonna re-evolve, so to speak, until they kind of settle down again and go, okay, this is where we're at. So maybe it's just that environment where they're just re-evolving.
Yeah, I guess, like I said, I think the main thing is, or my job is to forecast for our own agency. And I can't speak on how things are being built at other agencies and the direction they're going. I can just, read the changing weather and say we may need to shelter and make sure our district is in good position to have a facility, mostly because of the academy. With not knowing if we're gonna have two like we've been, one, if we have to maybe send people to state, those schedules don't line up, it's gonna make it more of a challenge. And again, this facility here, during the construction, won't be in use. The only other classroom we can hold 20 to 30 people is RLD. So that facility, I see us pushing more things down there and having more competition for that facility. It's gonna be more competitive to get it. So that's my main concern, is I wanna be able to pivot and be nimble and say, hey, whether we have people retire or people lateraled out of here, this happened and we need to do a pre-academy next month, and I don't have to work with any entity and say, hey, we need our training site back to make this happen.
I was just thinking if these are some of the issues you see coming forth, perhaps it would be worthwhile to tell us that, to tell the folks here at Surfer that we are going to end this contract in 365 days per the thing, because we have other issues that are coming up that we have to deal with and have to have a clear space for our own use. Maybe that's what we have to do, because if we did that, right now, a year from now, I mean, in a week or,
Yeah.
we would be able to use that and do some of the things we need. If we need to do some training, on our own, or maybe that's what we should do, is just do that. And then at least they would know where we stand, and we would know where we stand. And I'm not suggesting we do that tonight. I think we need to think about it. And I was going on with the chair, thinking that have you folks put down a couple, what's positive and negative for the various approaches that we could have, And it certainly sounds to me like going on with this till the end of December 28th, because that's when it ends, is not the way to do it. And so we should be ahead of the game. And even if you put some things together and we have a special meeting like next Monday to talk about this more in depth maybe. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there, but to spend some real good time on that and maybe ask the local to help. What are some of their thoughts on that? Because they're the ones that use it, are they not using it, or will they be locked out of keeping their skills up to speed on certain things? I mean, I don't know, if it goes down that road like that. But that would be my suggestion, that because look how much time we've spent already on it. We spent a half hour or more on it. And it's good to get it out and, know what's going on. And then, I think if we just don't do anything, I think we're probably gonna be kicking ourselves, and that won't be good for any of us. Because then we'll say, why didn't we do something back then, or, that type of thing.
As fast as things have moved in the last probably 4 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe at the longest, that's the hardest thing to predict, is I don't know where we're gonna be in a year. That's why we brought this to have this discussion here, is that I have no idea what next year holds, or a year from now holds, but there could be some significant changes which would require our agency to have to pivot, and that's fine, we have contingency plans that we can pivot to, but it would require us to have a more flexible schedule, meaning it could be on a month's notice, I'm locking this down for 2 months for a post academy, and I can't compete with anybody else down there for that space. I just need to know it's ours.
It may have moved out, and we've only been talking about it 2 weeks, but the more we talk about it, the more it changes, and the more, that's why we finally just brought it to you, it's like
It's good to know.
Yeah.
causes
Can
more
you give us 30
consternation.
days?
Oh, for sure.
I would love to be able to just have conversations with the other commissions and find out, to the extent that they're willing to talk about it, what's going on, you know? Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Come back in a month and.
Come back in a
revisit
month,
this
now,
next week.
you wanna approach the other commissioners and
Yeah.
figure out from their novel what they say.
Well, I would suggest this, if the events are really happening that fast, that we ought to, encourage the, chief to maybe have a special meeting just to talk about it. And talk about this and do some action on it.
And
Because
at a
another
special
one.
commission meeting or a special meeting of the chiefs?
Well, no, commissioner meeting,
Oh.
to deal with it. I mean, this is, to my way of thinking, this is a hard issue. And, you know, if we, for instance, said tonight, we're done in a year, you would know exactly when they could not be there anymore. And so would the training folks. They would know exactly when. After that, you would have to make all, like you used to do, like you said, we used to do that. Because we have our own issues that we're dealing with, and we have to have some certainty. And particularly in times that are just changing all over the place, you know, you need some certainty just to help the whole situation going. You know, the organization here, to know what's going on, you know.
Are you asking for us to schedule a special meeting, or because you said earlier that we don't have to take any action tonight?
Well,
And I just asked for 30 days, so.
Yeah, well, I just thought if we just had a special meeting, we'd just talk about that, and they could present some of their options, have them on paper, you know, something like that. Have those things that you asked for, some, you know, statements in there, and, you know, you hate to break agreements, you know, maybe beforehand, but sometimes that's needed to be done.
Right, I agree, I
Yeah.
understand. I just, timing wise.
Yeah, I guess I would lean towards allowing Brian the 30 days to approach the other commissioners and figure out from their standpoint, excuse me, what.
Lake Grant.
Yeah, Lake Grant. What their thoughts are, and then if, after he comes back, then maybe have a larger meeting with
Okay, so you mean
all the commissioners.
like he would go to one of their meetings and
You would approach the
or
other.
something like that, and just say, what do you think about the agreement over there at our training center?
I would be a little less direct than that.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Approach the other board chairs,
Yeah.
just to figure out what, you know, what's going on within their group, and is there things that are changing that they're willing to talk about,
Right.
or
Maybe
is it just that settling of the new chiefs, you know? Since we don't know, we don't wanna ask, and all they can do is tell us no, go away, so.
Well, maybe we ought to watch one of their meetings, see what they say. Maybe something comes up there, you know, maybe they've been talking about this just like we are tonight.
That's possible.
I mean, that's a possible, you know, I don't know.
Go online.
What?
They're online.
I know they are, I've watched them.
Yep.
I've tried.
So what do we wanna do?
Well, you heard what my suggestion was, so.
Well, you said a special meeting, but
Yeah.
when would you like to have that?
Well,
special-
like a week or two from now, just.
I don't think that gives us enough time. Probably doesn't give them enough time to collect their stuff. It certainly doesn't give me enough time to.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's fine. Well, maybe after you are able to speak with them. And,
Well, let's see what the timing of that is.
Yeah.
You know, because they're both working professionals and
you're,
I
but I do believe if it's on next month's agenda for us, we're probably gonna be at it for a long time again, just like tonight, which is okay. But maybe we'll get more people here who would have some interest in what we're trying to do or not do, you know. But, you know, I hate to see that as, for our organization to have that kind of a thing kind of hanging over our head, you know. And,
Sure, it's uncomfortable, it can be uncomfortable for everybody, so.
It can be, but we want to be judicious in coming to a plan on how we address
But,
it.
yeah, is that any kind of conclusion? Yeah.
Actually, just a point of clarification, not everybody in our organization, so if you go ask, Joe, who's a firefighter down at 44, on the fighting engine 44, he's not gonna even know that the academy is possibly going down to 1. Training division knows that, VCs, we know that's a discussion. The firefighters on the street, a lot of them don't know
Yeah.
some of the background, so it's not a widespread issue. We forecasted what some challenges are, and that's why we brought it here.
And it will, never
So
will be.
The
There's a-
local members or most of the people that are riding the engine and medic units on duty today don't probably know that there's these discussions going on.
Right,
Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
an important component, not only the RLB, but the larger picture, I think, what this might be indicative of. Let's move on to some reports.
Well, for brevity, any questions?
Nope.
Okay. I'm done.
You got a lot of stuff going on, all of you.
Are you really done, honey?
I am done. If they don't have any questions, I am good. I need to speak no more.
I only want to speak on a couple of things. First and foremost is new apparatus. And I want to tie it into the second thing, which is the Easter parade that just wrapped up on the 4th of April, led by our own Chief Waller.
What was your medic unit in the parade?
Yes,
Awesome.
yes. So our new color scheme, engine and medic unit were in the parade. On purpose, we didn't have 5, 6, 8 rigs in the parade. We had a couple in there, and it was really good. There was a lot of good comment. One thing I will say about the Easter parade this year is the entrants are always right around 40, but the crowd this year, the weather was good, and the crowd was the biggest one that I've ever seen at an Easter parade,
Wow.
which is really cool. And once again, Chief Waller led, not even a police car in the parade this year.
No police car.
Nope. So, I think we're gonna see.
They were
this-
scheduled, but they couldn't find them.
Yeah, a going
They
train.
just went.
So, it's like, where's the cops? We have no idea. Okay, chief, lead us on. So that went on, and then, the last thing is we are getting into wildland fire season. So we have apparatus getting ready, and most importantly, our personnel getting ready for call-outs locally as well as state ones. Chief Brader,
New apparatus, have we found any bugs yet?
what's that?
Have we found any bugs yet on new apparatus?
On the new medic units.
There is, being the diesel engine, with the DEF system, regen issues, potentially. So we're trying to work through that, right now, actually with Chevrolet, with one of our rigs. Just being able to find different ways to get the regen done. Nationwide, I know of one apparatus that went into limp mode while they were transporting a critical patient, meaning the apparatus wouldn't go more than 30 miles per hour. and they needed to go faster, they had to call another unit to come in and intercept, and take the patient away. So we want to avoid that problem. And there are some very viable workarounds to that, to where we can make sure that our apparatus are regenerated.
Put a
and-
pre-def diesel engine in there.
Yes, yeah, so.
Well, it's
the
like
rigs-
the Dodge, we had to go and get a special program for public safety that overrides that if we want.
Yeah, the apparatus
You would
themselves.
think that Braun would be all over that and have that part of the,
They don't do many Chevys
I
or D.
I will say this, that we need to make sure that all of the firefighters, everybody that fuels the rig up or puts DEF in it, if they ever accidentally put DEF in the diesel tank, do not start the rig, disconnect all components of the rig, because DEF is a very corrosive product, and if you just simply turn the key on, your fuel pump comes on, and you're already shoving it through your fuel lines, and means you gotta tear all of your fuel lines out, everything out, and clean all of that stuff out again. I just watched a couple of different videos on how bad and corrosive it really is. So it's just something we wanna make sure that everybody understands that.
Absolutely.
Accidents happen, they happen all the time, people just, get in a hurry or don't think, or whatever. And so don't feel stupid if you gotta pull a rig out of service because you accidentally put some DEF in the diesel tank. Take it out of service immediately, don't start it, don't turn it on, don't do nothing.
Training and education for sure.
Yeah.
Want to give, he's got a little bit tonight, but a little more kudos to BC Witherow and Gary Jessup and the group that got these things up here and immediately started working on getting those things in service. It was a lot of work. Chief Rick.
Okay, par for the course for me. Audits, finance, you guys approved all that stuff. The only thing I think that happened was I completed that CIMC, so I'm officially qualified
Congratulations.
logistics chief, which is great to have. It was a good experience, so appreciate being able to go. That's it for me.
well, I have a question for Chief Hill.
Well, let me answer that for him.
Is there any prep going on in the city of Snohomish for the 250-year US birthday?
They have
Oh,
not
I-
heard anything.
Oh, boy,
I haven't heard
don't
any of
know.
that.
Haven't
I
heard.
don't know.
You'd have to ask him, but he has not mentioned that. He's been on lots of other things, but not that.
City
I was
usually
just
sends
curious.
those out, city's pretty good about sending a permit notification if it wasn't, and I haven't heard anything.
Homecoming, we got a homecoming.
Fireworks.
Fireworks permit, but no.
No.
That's all I got.
There's no bonfire? Do they do a bonfire for homecoming anymore?
No.
Fireworks.
That's disappointing.
We could bring it up.
A pallet fire, 100-foot tall pallet pile.
We got the rowboat from the Welcome to Lake Stevens sign. Remember that rowboat that used to sit, put it on top of the homecoming fire? Shenanigans.
Yeah, Vikings can't figure that out.
Yeah, they can't figure out how to even get in a boat.
No.
And nothing from you, sir?
No, not unless you have questions. The only thing I would like to remind you is our push-in for the Medicines is at Station 42 Friday at 2:30.
Friday, Tuesday. I think I had it on Thursday. Calendar.
Friday.
Are we still planning to have that vote that you were talking about with local?
No, the local has decided to agree to no vote. So we
Okay.
should be signing an LOU this week.
Okay.
So we've agreed to all the language, we're just putting it in the proper format.
To vote for the no vote.
A,
I didn't vote.
a no vote or to not have a
To
vote?
not vote, to have no vote,
Okay,
not vote, but not a no vote.
okay.
Or a yes vote, no yes vote, no
No
vote,
vote.
but no voting.
Which means,
We stay in just status quo, which would be the same as a no vote, but it's not a no vote.
So we stay on this ship.
Yes, that's what,
Okay.
we're gonna go through that again?
There will be no.
Who's up first?
Well, I thought I was following, but.
Sorry, after 45 minutes on the RLB, I thought that would be a good way to end.
Well, that's kind of good news.
Yeah, well, just,
In my opinion.
we agree, and we think we have an agreement for, the grievance mediation, but I can't tell you because we've been sworn to secrecy, and
You
we
can't.
shouldn't talk about it in a public meeting. But, we went through that, we met again today, hopefully that can be wrapped up in the next 2 weeks.
Hours?
So yeah, I think we can get both of those things off the list.
Good. That's encouraging. But then negotiations start up.
So they have to send us a letter, so far,
Oh.
not yet.
Okay.
So, I think officially they could have sent us a letter as of, April 1st. So they have to send us a letter asking to start negotiations.
Initiated, that's
Yeah,
right.
initiated by them.
I got one question.
Oh,
We got the department information postcard in the mail today,
The newsletter?
the newsletter. So it was postmarked from Salem, Oregon. That was the first thing that somebody might be, why Salem, Oregon?
that's probably the closest DC
I,
now.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, we went, Sean, I can probably talk, but we went through a few, because we have to send it to somebody to print it, and then usually they mail it for us, because they get the rate, and
Yeah.
we have had trouble finding reliable and cost-effective ones. And so I know we're at least on our third or fourth one.
I think the major issue was reliable with the.
Yeah, 100%.
previous one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I said. I said it's probably a case of finding somebody who does a good job
Yeah.
at what we're asking them to do. Okay.
Yeah, I know we went through at least 2 or 3 local ones, and they won't get them out in time, and one wouldn't even start until they cashed the check, and we're like, well, that's not the way it should work. So it's been a challenge.
It seems like Alex has had a good rapport though with this new management system.
Fair enough.
And it's hard to find people, so it's easy to find census tract mailing and all these different things, but to find somebody that will find our data set, so we're not mailing to Surfer and to F, but we don't miss anybody, is also narrows the pool down a lot. People don't want to, they'll be like, well, we can hit all of the county, or, right, so it's also harder to find one that we're not sending out 3 times as many as we need to hit our group.
Mhm.
So that takes out a fair amount of the not as complex.
Right, and that kind of stuff, because technology has changed so much, it's harder to find people who do that kind of work anyway, so. All I got.
Richard, anything from you?
Oh, I already gave mine.
Okay.
We want to talk about that again?
No. There being no further business before the board, we are adjourned at 19:44.